Hey Virgo, how's it going? This is your reading for May of 2017. My name is Dre. If you want a reading, email me. Follow my Twitter. Um, Happy Scorpio full moon. So yeah, let's get started. Let me figure out what Okay, so Scorpio full moon is going to be in you guys' third house. So, the opposite of that, obviously, is the ninth house. So I feel like a lot of you are trying to, the third house is ruled by Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, which rules Virgo. And Mercury currently is with Uranus in the sky right now. So I feel like there's like some breakthrough or some sort of transformation that you guys are coming into when it comes to communication, when it comes to sort of exploring what, like the possibilities for you guys, like new possibilities, new horizons, new endeavors. But it's something that you guys, I feel like, how can I say this without being too complicated? It's something that you guys are probably, you're not going to immediately understand. Because it is in the third house, and the third house, as well as the sixth house, which Virgo rules, the ninth and 12th house, they're the houses that, unlike, your ascendant or the seventh house or the fourth house or the 10th house, they aren't really seen by anybody. It's more internal, and it's more about the information you're given in around your environment, and like how you choose to like what you choose to do with that information. What do you choose to do with the knowledge you've been given? I'm not explaining any other way than that. But I understand that, we do have the cardinal cross still ongoing. So if you guys have a lot of Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn energy, that's tough for you guys right now as well. And we also have Saturn in Sagittarius squaring Virgo, the Virgo energy, as well as Neptune in Pisces, which is opposite you guys. So there's like this, it's this culmination of you guys sort of breaking through illusions, understanding sort of the deeper truth in things, the deeper knowledge, the knowledge you've been unwilling to sort of face up and see. And I feel like it's going to impact you in a way that, again, it's probably not going to be 100% apparent, but it's going to be something that I feel like you guys feel in your gut. I'm using the Golden Thread Tarot. I'm not using reversals this time around. So, yeah, let's get started. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Cups. Gorgeous. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Ugh. That's you guys. We have Death. Death has shown up for two other readings, too. So, yeah, very interesting. We have the Hangman. We have the Hierophant. And we have the Eight of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Star. We have Judgment. We have the Nine of Pentacles. And we have the Nine of Swords. So interesting, 2 nines, the 8 and 9 of Swords, a 10, 12 and 13, the Major Arcana, Let me pull one more card. Wow, another 10. We have the wheel. Now, when I did a reading for Leo, they had the wheel in this exact position too. So some of you might have a lot of Leo energy, might be a Leo rising, watch the Leo video, because they also had the Hangman and Death. They had some other cards that were sequential order. It was really weird. So yeah, you guys, Virgo, when it comes to you guys, is when the readings I've been giving for y'all, I've always gotten the sense that you guys you're aiming toward happiness. You're aiming toward completion, full completion, total, just love. Love, like the Ace of Cups have been in you guys' readings a lot. Now we have the 10. So I feel like that you guys are like really aiming toward this completion, because we also have the wheel here, as well as, well, like I said, the 10 of Cups. But we also have a couple nines. So it's like there's more about this process that is still sort of that you're undergoing. It's still a transformative thing. And it's something that, again, what I mentioned earlier about this full moon, unless you have like a lot of Scorpio energy or Taurus energy, or cardinal energy, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, Aries, or even fixed energy, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, or Aquarius, it's not going to be too apparent. But I feel like because we do have Saturn in Sagittarius, as well as Neptune in Pisces, your entire view about how you've viewed yourself in relation to others, as well as how you choose, where you're choosing to place yourself in the world, and where you might have been lacking, where you might not have been entirely efficient. And I think of the Virgo energy as just being efficient. That's essentially the function of the energy, is to get things done in a routine sort of way, compared to all the other Earth energies. And so I see that this full moon, excuse me, as well as the continuation of this cycle, is challenging you. It's pushing you to sort of go harder, go further, really sort of, again, break past your limits, get beyond any sort of limitations you've been putting on yourself, any doubts, any hesitation, any frustrations. And we have the Queen of Pentacles over this Knight of Cups. Now, for some of you, you could be really dealing with a water energy. Doesn't have to be a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. The Knight of Cups is traditionally a Pisces, which is why this is mainly telling me that because Pisces is your opposite sign in your 7th house, the house of relating to others, I feel like it's more about you acquiring some wisdom, gaining this wisdom, this knowledge that you've gained, and using it in a way that will sort of safeguard you against any future hurt, or at least being able to, because I feel like for some of you, you might be dealing with somebody that is unreliable, with somebody that doesn't have your best interests at heart, somebody that's toying you around. And I feel like going forward, it's going to be important to understand that you have gained a lot of knowledge. You've come from a place, and you have a desire to go. How can I put this? I feel like I'm sort of. I feel like you guys you have a goal, you have a destiny, you have a desire, you have some sort of ambition, because you want. Either you are married, or you want this relationship to go to the next level, or you want this relationship to go to the next level, or you want your own internal happiness to be fulfilled. And I feel like for some of you, you're not going to wait around for somebody else to do that, because we have a queen over a knight. The knights do the queen's bidding. And so I feel like, again, with the progression of your readings, Virgo, sort of gaining esteem and gaining confidence, and becoming more clear-cut and more decisive in terms of what you will and will not stand for, I feel like it's only going to continue to benefit you. You know, you have to learn how to be selfish, and Virgo is a very giving energy. And so is Pisces. But with this axis, one is more giving than the other. You know, I feel like it's hard to achieve this balance. Somebody might just be more taking, and I feel like for some of you, it is the other person, somebody that is incredibly needy, and you want to be there to help them, and you want to be there to sort of give them guidance or give them, you know, to be that maternal figure that you feel like they need. But it's like any sort of, you know, when we put ourselves to the side just to serve somebody else, and when we're trying to, you know, fix people, we're not really doing them a service. We're doing ourselves a disservice, because, you know, we can give these people the tools to take care of themselves, but it's not our job to, unless we are their mother, to be their mother. And I feel like somebody is expecting you to do this. And for some of you, you might be in this position where you're like, well, I deserve more and I deserve better. Or it's at least important to think that way, especially if you feel like you're not getting what you deserve. And I feel like for some of you, you aren't, because we do have the death and we have the star cards here. And so when we get to a point to where, I feel like when we get to a place to where we are running ourselves ragged and we are more focused on either living up to unrealistic obligations or putting ourselves in situations that, you know, we are devaluing ourselves and placing all of this emphasis in another, we lose that quality within us that needs to be brought out, that needs to be healed, that needs to shine through. Because the star is starting to become one of my favorite cards. I have a lot of favorite cards, but it's really because it's all about stripping away the bullshit, stripping away the artifice. And I mentioned Scorpio and Aquarius earlier. Death is represented by Scorpio and the star is represented by Aquarius. So for some of you, like if you have a lot of fixed energy, or like if you're dealing with a Leo, because Leo had pretty similar cards, at least with the major arcana, I feel like for a lot of you, this new moon in Taurus that was not that long ago, and this full moon in Scorpio that's happening today as I'm recording this, is going to sort of shake up like your perceptions, or you should allow this process to open your eyes up to seeing things in ways that, it's like a blind spot. Essentially, there's been a blind spot. There's been a part of yourself, a part of your personality, like I told Leo, that you've sort of overlooked, that you haven't given credence, because again, we're so busy and we're so narrow-minded and focused on what we feel like is right, simply because society, our parents, we've placed that burden on ourselves for no reason. But either way, you've limited yourself, and you've hit a wall essentially in terms of how far you can grow and where you can go in terms of rebuilding yourself and truly healing yourself. Because I feel like for some of you actually do feel like being in service to this other person, or to somebody that's unreliable. You know, this could be a friend, or it could be, depending on how old you are, this could be a son. This could be like just somebody that's just a little bit immature. But it's not that you totally disrespect them or you disregard them. You see some value in them, but it's like, I feel like they're not meeting you halfway. You two aren't able to actually be on the same level, because I feel like you are on a different plane, but yet you're stooping down to their level, or you're stooping down to sort of make something happen, make something work. And again, with the Ten of Cups, the biggest thing, since I'm not doing reversals, I sort of have to read both sides of this energy, is that you can't sort of force yourself to fit you can't force, you can't, you have to allow things to just be. Things are as they are, and I feel like we typically have an inclination to make things fit this certain mold, to fit this pattern. Virgo has a tendency to do that, as well as Pisces. I'm a Pisces sun and moon, and it's the whole opposites thing where we both have idealizations of what perfection is, but we spend so much time trying to force that to happen that we sort of miss the bigger picture. We miss what is actually happening. We miss the signals that somebody is giving us that they are bad for us, or that we are in a toxic relationship, or that we're just giving, and they're taking. And so I feel like it's going to be important to steer clear from that and to set those boundaries and set that, and to understand that if you're doing this, you're not doing it out of, you can't see yourself as being mean, or you can't see yourself as being cold, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to yourselves. I told Leo this as well, so some of you might really need to watch that Leo video, where it's okay to be detached. It's okay to sort of adapt this Aquarian disposition where, one of the better things about the Aquarian energy is being able to disengage and to just observe, to understand, to see the layout of a situation for exactly what it is, with our emotions not fully invested in it. Because when we are fully emotionally invested, that can lead to the cycle repeating itself. And I feel like there's a cycle here that needs to break. There's a cycle here that needs to die. And there's a perspective that needs to change. With the Hangman and Judgment here, it's all about allowing yourself the opportunity and giving yourself that advantage. Realizing that you've been seeing things in a way where you're so focused on making this thing work that you're ignoring the bigger machinery. You're ignoring the bigger picture, where it's like, there is something here that's ending. There's something here that needs to die, or there's an aspect, a blind spot, where it's just like you haven't fully allowed yourself to view the panorama of the situation because you've been so focused on either, again, with this wheel here, it could be just making something work that shouldn't, but I feel like you're overlooking your own healing and your own growth in the process. Because you're so devoted on love, and you're so devoted on giving, and you're so devoted to being charitable. And I might have told you guys this last reading. I didn't watch them or rewatch them. It's just that I feel like for some of you, you've brain fart, but that energy where it's just like you've ignored your own healing, you've overlooked your own blind spot in service of somebody else. And so with the Hierophant and the Nine of Pentacles, this is all just about coming back. Again, it all circles back to you guys. And, I know people cross-watch. I know people are curious about what their partner's doing. And unless you get, a specific love reading about that, I don't really see these videos as functioning properly for those, because I'm mainly doing this for your own soul growth. I'm doing this for you. Tarot's it's an active energy agent. These things don't happen to us. We should step into these energies, and we should be aware of how we should go along by. It's a guide, essentially, So again, these things aren't happening to you. It's just like how you should react, what you should do if this situation applies to you. Again, in general, it's hell. But either way, like if this is a love relationship, or if this could be just like, again, it could be totally independent of like a love situation. Some of you are just so giving to the point where, to the detriment of your own self, to your own, your own star power or whatever, because I can't think of a better word. But it's just like you guys are totally dismissing that. And so I feel like there's a part of yourself that you really need to be comfortable with. that you need to just own up and face that, the Hierophant is a choice. It precedes the Lovers. The Lovers is more about being committed to the choice we've made. Um, excuse me. Is what I feel like, because I feel like we've already made a choice when we get to the Lovers, and we've made the decision to go in wholeheartedly. You know, when it's upright at least. And the Hierophant is more about being at the crossroads, recognizing that it's a very existential card, but it's more like living by your own code of values. Like, you have to be in touch with who you are, at least when it comes to your morals and with your values and how you feel like you should be treated and humanity should be treated. And again, Hierophant is represented by Taurus traditionally. The Taurus new moon, like I told Leo, it's all about just getting down to earth, getting truth, real, and honest with yourself about what is working and what's not working. And I feel like if you haven't, or if you don't get truly in touch with yourself, a wheel is going to break off that's going to force you to look at it. And again, that's what I'm talking about with the blind spot thing earlier. It's just that some things, it's probably not going to blow up in your face, but it's just going to be like, well, damn, I didn't know that this situation was as bad as it was. It's like not getting your oil changed and just ignoring the light, essentially, or just assuming, because, like your refrigerator hasn't broken down in years, it'll never break down, and then it breaks down. It's that sort of thing. Weird analogy, but it's sort of we have to sort of ground ourselves in this knowledge, ground ourselves with realizing when our actions are lining up with our core beliefs. And with this, I feel like, are you actually lining up with your own value of self-worth, this Nine of Pentacles? Do you truly understand what you can give? Not only what you can give, but who you are as a person. Are you able to stand on your own 2 feet? And if you're not, why not? Like, why haven't you given yourself those tools to be able to go out and do what you want to do without having to hide behind doubt or hide behind insecurities? We all have insecurities, we all have our doubts, but sometimes they're really self-limiting. They're paralyzing in the extent that, again, we're so focused on handing ourselves away, or being devoted or being committed to tasks or to people that aren't really that satisfying, that we ignore what's happening in here on the inside. Virgo represents the bowels, and that's another sort of thing where it's if we have terrible diets, or if we eat crappy food, as long as we don't feel bad immediately, we don't think much of it. But it's that sort of area of our lives that we really need to it's that area of our bodies that we really need to take care of and to be mindful about, because how we digest food is important. And not only that, but the food we put into our bodies and the nourishment we get from it is all important. And Virgo rules all that too, health and nutrition and wellness. And so not only just your physical wellness, but also your mental and emotional wellness, because pentacles represent body, our physical nature, and you guys are an earth sign. So it's all about trying to come back into realizing, trying to get all that entire area, that sort of, health, wellness, and body, or whatever I just said, sort of getting all of that in order and getting all that together. So, we're able to make, healthy choices for ourselves, as long as we want to do that. And the Hierophant, again, it's that choice. Do we want to sort of either, for an example, stay in a marriage that, because society or our family or whatever tells us that we should be married, and because even though our husband's a piece of shit or our wife's a piece of shit, we have to stay with them because that's what people do. People stay committed. Either that, or it's like, what, I I don't feel right in this relationship. I don't feel right in this marriage. I'm not getting my emotional needs met. I feel like I'm being pushed aside. I feel like I'm a second class citizen in my own marriage. And, it's like trying to be able to realize that these things, they are mutually exclusive. You can't be like, well, I'll be submissive and I'll be, put upon and, degraded in service of my husband or my wife because I feel like this is what I should do. So this is my role, is to just be worthless. Fine if you choose to do that, or in any other situation that's similar, but in my opinion, I see those things as being two totally, completely different paths. The two can't merge. It's literally impossible to me. And so we have the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords. Whatever decision you make, it's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to be easy to navigate. It's not going to be easy to come to a decision because this is years and years and years and years of like anxieties and doubts, and it's years and years of, in one of my tarot books, it goes on about how the Nine of Swords is a very egocentric sort of energy, where it is this anxiety, but it's more about us dwelling on the anxiety because we fear that there is no other option. We fear that we don't want to do the inevitable and either end something or face something head on, death card, because we don't want to deal with the blowback. We'd rather dance around it. And Eight of Swords, we'd rather try to sort of get through it with as little damage as possible because the ultimate truth is too hard to bear. It's too hard to come to terms with. And, all of that's true. Nobody wants to actually face up to their fears or confront somebody or do something that is going to put everything else at risk. But I feel like because it rules the mind, there are other aspects of your life that you need to heal as well. Maybe mentally, maybe emotionally and mentally, things are just not... I feel like the situation around you is leading you to feel this sort of way because you haven't fully taken yourself out of it, or you haven't been able to view it objectively and view it in a way that's more long-term, not simply just in the here and now. It's important to be in the here and now because something here and now is not working. And it's just like, do you want to continue to overlook it and let it be a blind spot and let it continue to hurt you along the way? Or would you rather understand that you do have a choice, that you do have the power to make a decision and to sort of shift luck in your favor? And it's all going to take with you changing your perspective. And whether or not you actually have the courage or you have the gall to do so, I feel like some of you, it would really benefit if you, just took a huge step back. For me, with the word I just got, just, put it all out on paper. Put free write, put all of your emotions, or you can talk to other people. Either way, you need to get it all out. And you need to, I feel like, exorcise this. You have to get this out so you can see it visually and to understand that, and just read it back and just be like, if we're just so brutally honest and upfront with ourselves sometimes, it's just that sort of thing that we need to be like, well, that's not working. So, how am I going to solve this? And this isn't a problem that can just be easily solved in in a month. And for the month of May, this is going to continue because we're heading into different moon cycles. We're heading into different phases as these planets start shifting later on in the year, where if we don't recognize it now, if we don't realize it now, we'll realize it in a different way come later this year, come next year, going into Virgo season especially, because a lot of planets would have moved out of retrograde and all that stuff. So stay positive and stay mindful, Virgo. Stay mindful and stay healthy. Thank you guys for watching this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.